Hello, I'm Robert Kelly, and today on Record All Monsters, Gamera vs. Jiger and Expo 70.
Exhibit site here, men are now reviewing data to be later placed inside an airtight capsule for burial at Expo. It's hoped that people will open it in 5,000 years from now and realize the extent of our knowledge. In this way, we can communicate with the future. If only such devices were constructed in the past, we would not regard some ancient cultures with the wonder with which we view them today. If we knew more about the Great Stone Age, many questions would be cleared up, such as the Mu continent mystery. What are these strange sculptures found on tiny islands in the Pacific? Are they linked with the Mu continent, an ancient civilization said to have sunk beneath the ocean ages ago? Or is this merely a legend, perhaps grown from an even stranger truth? So far, we've had no other clue to guide us. Then came this discovery on Wester Island, a stone statue the natives call the Devil's Whistle.
Is he all right?
I think so, sir.
What's Jiger?
Sorry, I have no idea.
Thank you.
We haven't seen Gamera for a while, and the last time we did was in my favorite Showa Gamera movie, Gamera vs. Giron. Today we're talking about its immediate sequel, Gamera vs. Jiger, or Gamera vs. Monster X, as it was released to American television screens by AIP. The conventional wisdom of the day argues that this is the best Showa Gamera movie, and while it isn't my personal favorite, I can't deny that it seems to strike the best balance between Gamera kiddie matinee fare and a compelling story. Part of the reason it works so well is that the Gamera formula is locked, loaded, and firing on all cylinders. We have the mostly ineffectual adult authority figures, the two best and smartest boys who ever lived, their sisters who don't have a whole lot to do, and ample monster action throughout. There are, however, no alien invaders, and that might be another reason this movie works pretty well. The monster antagonist here is a free agent. She's not under anybody's control. Jiger just wants to jump around and destroy things, and Gamera is in her way. And so is Expo 70. It's important to this movie, and it also tells us quite a bit about what's coming up in the future. So to start with, Expo 70 was a World's Fair.
Not just a county fair, not just a Europe fair, but a World's Fair.
It was held in Osaka, Japan from March 15th through September 13th. World's Fairs are international events where different countries from around the world show off some of their ideas for the future. The host country usually has a central pavilion as well as some signature structures, such as the Eiffel Tower in Paris, or the Sun Sphere in Knoxville, Tennessee, in the United States, which was famously knocked over in March of 1996. At least I think it was knocked over. I saw it fall over in a documentary called Bart on the Road, which is available on Disney+. The signature structure for the Osaka and Expo 70 was the Tower of the Sun, which still stands to this day and is seen in the movie we're discussing. It's widely believed that the movie was funded in part by the Expo itself, since so much of it was shot on the fairgrounds in the lead-up to it opening. They also had an agreement that director Noriaki Yuasa could not destroy any models of Expo-related structures for the film. But we do get some nice city destruction from Jiger, who is a fascinating kaiju. She's explicitly said to be female, is quadrupedal, shoot starts from her face, deposits her young like a xenomorph parasite into Gamera with a stinger on the end of her tail, and can almost definitely fly. She also has some kind of sonic superpower that forces Gamera to protect himself by shoving telephone poles into his ears, before murdering her with a giant whistle. Beyond this film, which was released just about a week after the Expo opened, Godzilla and Gamera also had a presence together in the form of Godzilla vs. Gamera, the stage show, from which only an event program, a few photos, and possibly a few seconds of video survive. Yoshimitsu Banno, who was selected to direct the next Godzilla film, made his directorial debut here, with a film made specifically for the Expo called The Birth of the Japanese Islands. This is the penultimate Gamera movie of the Showa era, kind of, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Although this movie was a huge success, the most profitable Gamera movie in the original series, as a matter of fact, Dai was still in deep financial trouble, and even a big hit like this couldn't keep them afloat.
Well, Doctor, now what about the statue?
Oh, well, I can always make a model of it to show.
An imitation, Doctor?
Yes, certainly. We know all the answers to its mysteries now. It was meant to remain out there on the island. And Gamera will help us by returning it home.
I doubt that.
True. You don't have to worry. He's never betrayed mankind.
He killed Monster X, didn't he? And without him, Expo would have clung.
Gamera, you did it all.
Gamera, thank you a lot. You're our friend, Gamera.
And so Expo 70 opened on schedule. People learned many things from it, but we were taught a lesson of our own from Gamera, that we adults must never lose a child's ability to imagine, and to hope, and to have faith.
Gamera, stay well. Return again.
Goodbye, Gamera.
So, hello, welcome back to Record All Monsters. I'm your host, Robert Kelly, and we're here with Brian Livingston, who is the author of a book. He sent me a copy. I started reading. It's very enjoyable. The Habits of Squirrels.
Yes.
Brian, welcome to Record All Monsters.
Hey, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
First of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the book and where that comes from?
All right. Yep. So my name's Brian Livingston. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. Went to Clemson University. And then in between Clemson and starting law school, I thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail, which is sort of the basis for my book. Even though the book, The Habits of Squirrels, takes place on a fictional trail. My thru-hike experience informs that thru-hike experience. And then I went to law school at Washington and Lee University School of Law, met my wife, got my dog Maddox, and since moved back here to South Carolina. I've spent 5.5, 6 years as a civil litigator and criminal litigator, and then now I'm sort of off the law game, working on the next thing, sort of promoting the book full time and watching monster movies.
Oh, that's great. Did you grow up watching monster movies at all? Any familiarity?
I've never come across Gamera before, but my mom and I we're big sci-fi folks. So a lot of the Sci-Fi Channel movies, the stuff that you watch once when it airs on Friday night and then it never shows again. And then I forget what it was called, but I think AMC still does it. That Monster October, the 30. Oh,
Monster Vision, yeah.
Yeah. So we always sort of booked that time, and we were we were going to like TV Guide and like picking out which movies we needed to make sure we were sitting down for, and watching the old sort of Godzilla and stuff that they would show on that.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great, man. So we talked. We watched a movie Gamera versus Jiger or Gamera versus Monster X. First of all, what did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. It definitely took me back to the AMC MonsterVerse days of, it had that, obviously the similar feel of like some of those old Godzilla movies. I will say probably the best Gamera action in this movie is in that little clip show at the beginning, the introduction, where he's fighting sort of the array of previous monsters. So I got really excited when I saw that. But I think the Gamera versus Jiger fights weren't quite as exciting.
No, I thought there were some good parts of it, but they just always kind of, because there's 3, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
The first one is just a couple seconds. Gamera gets his arm skewered.
Yeah.
And then he gets a parasite, and then he's out of action for most of the movie.
Yeah.
This is this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, when he gets his arm skewered, that's something that I've never seen in a monster movie. Is like the like you never see Godzilla on its back, sort of like wavering its arms like an upturned turtle like that. So that was funny to see.
And then we get this prolonged, painful sequence of him pulling the skewers out. His, against a rock, and it's just.
There's a couple pretty long sequences that I wasn't sure why they when Monster X or Jiger first wakes up and has a long drinking sequence, which I think is just like him dumping out water played in reverse, and then after Gamera gets stabbed with the larva or the parasite, that was another long sort of death sequence.
Yes, well, and like. I kind of get the long drinking sequence because, like, when I get up in the morning, I drink just like 3 glasses of water over the sink.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, how long was Jiger asleep for?
Thousands and thousands of years, right? That makes sense. I never thought it that way.
Yeah. So and. Were you surprised that Gamera could fly? That was kind of his introduction.
I had a very visceral reaction to that when the jets came out of him, because the blue jets that he has are cool and fun to watch. I was not expecting that. I essentially just thought he was Turtle Godzilla. So when he lifted off, I got very excited.
Yeah, one of the great joys of Gamera movies for me is that. It is introducing them to people and getting those reactions to, wait, he can fly? Wait, like, the previous movie, previous Gamera movie, we find out he can fly through space. That's perfectly fine. No need to breathe. So anything else in this particular one stand out for you?
Well, I think it's just what was going on in my life at the time. Like, I was reading Stephen King's It. I finished that sort of like, I think, shortly after I watched this movie. And, that's about a universe-saving turtle or universe-creating turtle. And then it's another universe where all the adults are essentially useless at best. So I was liking to think that these Gamera and It took place in the same universe.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Definitely see that.
It's not unlikely that Stephen King saw this, so it added this to his like sort of mental bank of stuff to sort of homage.
Mm-hmm. Well, the actor who plays the father in this one, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he had been in a previous Gamera movie as the comic relief character, and now he's the dad. Which was a role that, I mean, it's not a recurring character, but like the archetype of the kid's dad.
Yeah.
Had been played by an actor named Kojiro Hongo, who had been in the first few, serious dramatic actor. And he's just gone for the rest of the series. There is no need for a serious dramatic actor in any role here at this point.
Yeah. I watched this a couple times. I could only name that little boy. I mean, everybody else just sort of, is like you said, a classic archetype. Although I will say the little girl, the actress to play the little girl that wears the plaid the entire time,
Yes,
is adorable.
She is, and she can make some faces, like just the reactions, like
when she was poking around, watching her brother and Hiroshi. I'm getting that wrong.
I think so.
Get into that sub. That was an adorable scene, and then you get a long sequence of her running around to keep watching them. Yeah, I enjoyed every second of that.
That is one of my favorite parts of any Gamera movie, the submarine sequence where they go in his mouth and they're don't make him sneeze, we'll get blown out. And then they fight the little parasite Jiger.
Yeah, then they dock the sub inside of him and have a full fight without bothering him, apparently.
Did you watch the version, because there are a few versions available, with the elephant nose surgery sequence?
I did. Yeah, I watched the Amazon Prime version, and then I put on subtitles. That was one of the more disgusting things ever built to put to film.
Yes. Yeah, it's rough. It's when the first time I saw this one, I saw the American International Television version, which had been edited slightly, including that sequence was cut down to just when they opened the trunk.
Yeah. Not the hand going in and scooping out the
none of that stuff. And so when I finally saw the actual full version of the movie a couple years ago, I was like, oh no.
Yes. Oh God. So it's like sort of logical leap that they take there to get there, but it kept the movie going, which I appreciate. I didn't need them to explain everything. I like the final sequence where they have the Jiger sort of subdued with the speakers, and then they have to turn off the speakers to or they don't turn them off. Like when they supercharge Gamera to bring him back alive, it takes power away from the speakers. That was a good dilemma, and then they're surprised that happens. I'm like, oh no, now we have him back. They're like, yeah, you turned off the speakers that were subduing it.
Because it's the way these movies work. They operate so much on little kid logic. Mm-hmm. It's like a lot of times it's like watching a kid play with some toys, and I enjoy that aspect of it a lot. It's a kid's game. It takes me back to that time. Yeah, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, I liked watching the kids running around, and then that submarine sequence is really fun because it's just kids.
Yes, and the nervous adults on the radio being like, "Are you okay?" And the kid's like, "Why are you so dumb? I know everything." That's the dynamic over and over again in these Gamera movies. That there's a Japanese boy and an American boy, and the Japanese boy knows everything, and he's the smartest and best child that ever there was.
Yeah. I think that's like the only question they ask his dad when they find out when the adults find out that the kids are going in the subs. Like, is that sub safe? And never mind that they're driving it into a monster. No, the sub's good.
As they state frequently throughout this movie, Gamera is the friend of all children.
That's true.
There's no need for concern.
Yeah. Although the adults do, they seem confused on that point early in the movie. That made me think it was like the first Gamera movie when all the kids are explaining to the adults that when Gamera comes to the Jiger Island, was it Wester Island?
Wester Island, yeah.
And all the adults are like, all right, well, we got to start shooting at this thing, and all the kids are like, no, he's the savior of children. Like,
he's the movie. And then when they get back to Japan to help set up the Expo, the one boy is like, "You lied to me. You said Gamera was good."
I forgot about that.
He is? You must have been doing something stupid.
Yeah. Gamera didn't hurt anybody during that sequence. He was just, coming to try and stop him.
Yep. Well, was this so this you said was your first experience with Gamera?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you expecting it to be so out there?
I kind of had an idea, but I didn't know. Yeah, man. Like I said, when he started flying, when the other things started flying and shooting, I think in my subtitles it was like the super ultra wave that was like wiped out like an entire city. That got my attention. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, again, that's just one of the great joys of these movies, that everything is completely out of left field.
Yeah. And then like the stakes, it wasn't like world-ending stakes. Everybody was just worried about the Expo.
Yeah,
Not even
gonna ruin
their own personal danger.
They're gonna ruin. It's gonna ruin the World's Fair. Now, what's interesting, they actually filmed this movie at the World's Fair Expo 1970.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Were those buildings real that they showed at the beginning? Because those buildings were amazing.
Yes, they were, and they released it the week after the expo closed.
Okay.
So it was still fresh in everyone's mind.
Yeah. That's smart marketing.
It really is. And Gamera had an actual presence at Expo 70. There was a Godzilla versus Gamera stage show where they had actors in the suits, play out a little fight. And there's some pictures of that online, but it's
is it recorded?
The only No, and it's the only official crossover there's ever been between the two.
Oh, man. Yeah, I bet that was really fun. I'd like to see that.
I would too. But all there are some pictures, which is disappointing.
Yep.
But so we'll wrap the discussion on the movie at this point. Was there any particular part of the movie that's just going to stay with you forever? A favorite part, something you'll tell your grandchildren about, that sort of thing?
It would be a movie I'd be comfortable watching with my kids. I think it is, like we said, it's that kind of logic, and it's that kind of fun. This is kind of a cheat from the other movies, but like that introductory clip show where he's fighting the monsters, I guess I'm assuming from other movies. I got previous enough to watch the others because those look like fun sequences. And oh man. Yeah, I liked the submarine sequence when Gamera gets stabbed and sort of turns white. That was an interesting moment. I enjoyed it enough to like revisit it and then revisit sort of the other ones in the series.
Yeah, well, I think they're mostly all available on Amazon Prime.
Makes it pretty easy, and I imagine they're mostly under an hour and a half. Which made it very.
I don't think any of them go longer than 90 minutes.
Great.
So yeah, check those out, man.
Yeah.
But with that, we'll go into a break, and then when we come back, we'll be playing a version of our recurring game show, What's in a Name? This time it is the surgery edition of What's in the Name. Yeah. So when we come back.
Frozen in terror, the Earth waits for the battle of the Titans. Gamera versus Monster X. A hideous monster without a name challenges the world, destroying everything in its path. From beneath the crust of the earth it came, and the battle of a decade would begin. Only Gamera stands between civilization and its gigantic strength. Its paralyzing death rays sweep across the land as the world looks on helplessly. Can Gamera stop its relentless march? Gamera versus Monster X.
Hello, welcome back to Record All Monsters, where we're here with special guest author Brian Livingston, author of The Habits of Squirrels, to play the game show What's in a Name? Surgery Edition. And so, of course, the reason we're doing the Surgery Edition of this game is that during this movie, Gamera gets a parasite, which has to be removed. And this is illustrated to the audience through stock footage of an elephant having thousands of worms pulled out of its nose in a very grisly surgery operation. That got me curious, what is the name of that operation? And well, it seems like it's just called surgical parasite removal. But that's no fun. So, I went and looked up the actual names of some weird surgeries. And your job, Brian, will be to tell me if the surgery I name and describe is under the correct name, or if it has a different official name.
All right. I think I can take a swing at this.
If you win, you will not have to undergo any unnecessary surgery. If you lose, well, I can't make any promises. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Stakes have never been higher.
Question 1. Is an osteotomy a surgery that resets or modifies bones?
Resets or modify? I'll say true.
That is correct. That is the definition of an osteotomy.
It's always nice to get on the board.
Yep. We got 5 of these, so we'll see how you go. Sometimes people don't do well on the on the game show. Sometimes they do. I joke that I try to make it hard, but I honestly never know what other people will have an easy time with.
Yeah, and it's intimidating or frightening to think your logic out loud and record it for all time. A field I do not know.
Alrighty. So, is a frenotomy or a frenulotomy a surgery to heal diseases of the ear?
I'll say false or not true.
That is false. You're correct.
All right.
A frenotomy or frenulotomy is a procedure to allow the tongue to move more freely by cutting that little dab underneath.
Oh.
Which is called a frenule.
I was thinking, I don't know why, I was thinking something to do with the adrenal glands, but I got it right just through the wrong process.
All right, question 2. Or 3. So you're 2 for 2 out of 5. You're doing great. So if you get this one right, you already win. Unnecessary surgery, not happening.
I got 3 shots at dodging that bullet.
Is blepharoplasty lip modification surgery?
Plethoroplasty?
Blepharoplasty.
Okay. I will say that it is lip modification.
Well, you got the first one wrong.
Oh, no.
That is the surgery to repair droopy eyelids.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't want knives on my eyes.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my triggers is having stuff close to my eye.
Never watch a Lucio Fulci movie. It's Italian horror director. All kinds of crazy eye stuff in there.
Yeah. Keep me awake at night.
Okay. Is metatarsal surgery the repair of knees?
Yes.
That's another one wrong, Brian.
No.
I'm sorry. Metatarsal surgery is specifically to repair bunions or arthritis, anything deforming your foot.
Ah. I should've
Because
known
those
that.
are the names of the bones in your foot, are metatarsals.
Huh. All right.
All right. So it's 2-2. This is your final question. Is a cholecystectomy... These are long words.
Yeah.
Is a cholecystectomy
Okay.
a surgery to remove the gallbladder?
Cholecystectomy. I want to say no because it sounds like a colon thing, but maybe that's a mislead. I'll say yes.
You're correct. You narrowly avoid unnecessary surgery. That is what is called to remove the gallbladder.
Dodge the come from behind loss.
Well, congratulations. You joined the elite company of people who won their first appearance on the game show.
Awesome. Thank you. And dodged the surgery.
Yeah. I don't know how we would have enforced that penalty. There usually aren't any. Yeah. But, we'll figure. We would have figured something out. Don't you worry.
Yeah. It's good we don't have to cross that bridge.
So, Brian, thank you for stopping by. Had a great time talking with you. If you want to give one more plug to that book.
Absolutely. Yep. So my book is The Habits of Squirrels. It's available on my website, Brian Livingston Books. It's available on Amazon, indiebound.org, I think that is. Like I said, it's I thru hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2013. It's a fictionalized thru hike taking place on a fictional Great Eastern Trail. And it sort of follows the misadventures of retired mailman and perennial indoor kid Gabe Jenkins as he sets out to hike the trail and just the people, the unique people and landscapes that he encounters along the way, and hopefully the lessons that he learns.
Yeah, and like I said, you sent me a PDF of it. I read the first couple of chapters. Yep. You're a very good writer. I really like your style. You. And I'm looking forward to finishing that this week. And we'll have a link to the your website and the Amazon page in our description.
Great. And I guess for social media, on Instagram at Brian Livingston Books, Twitter at Livingston Books, and then Facebook at Author Brian Livingston. For the full plug.
Right. Very good. All right, Brian, we hope to maybe see you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to watch another movie and talk about it. That was fun.
Great. All right.
Courtney. Hi.
Hi.
It's been about a month since we put out our last episode.
Yes, it has.
And I needed a break after the intensity of the Godzilla's Revenge episode. And in addition to that, I had a lot of things going on with family. And I'm going to level with y'all. Most of that, if not more, is still going on.
Yeah.
And I was working on this episode pretty much the entire time. So, here's what's going to happen going forward for Season 2. I'm going to put the episodes out as I finish them. Try and stick to Fridays, but I love doing this show, and I just have to put it in the time I have.
This is our busy time of the year at work, too.
That's very true. So between this scheduled break and the unscheduled break early in the year, we're very behind. But I realized I'm my boss on this.
Yeah.
So I can move the timeline however I want. Again, I am sorry for the lack of anything over the past month. Even when we have a break, maybe we'll do a mailbag or something. We get mail sometimes. So if you want to hear from us soon, send us an email
Yeah,
at recordallmonsterspod@gmail.com.
indeed.
Or you can send us a direct message on Twitter or Instagram. On Twitter, we're at Monsters Recorded. On Instagram, we are at recordallmonsters.pod. I wanted to thank Kaiju Dropkick for tagging us in a give some love to a page you like on Instagram thing. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate we got our first ever patron, John M. Who we will be, he will get to hear the first episode of I Never Twinsed a Single Peak. And the second episode as well, which we will be putting out on the 1st. Over on our Patreon.
Where we'll also be watching Stranger Things for fun.
Yes.
Not for Patreon.
We will be watching Stranger Things for fun.
Because it comes out on that date.
Yes, I'm excited, but Courtney is more excited.
I'm obsessed. The only thing I love more than Stranger Things is Star Wars.
Star Wars. When we were dating, The Last Jedi came out, and she was like vibrating the whole day we were gonna go see it.
Yeah.
She was just like buzzing. So, our next full episode is going to be on the movie Space Amoeba, aka Yogg, Monster from Space. I have a guest I'm pretty happy with lined up for that. But again, just because of how timelines are working, I'm not going to say much beyond that right now. But so yeah, I got to get that interview in the can, and then you may have noticed some of the audio clips we used today were of higher quality. And that is because of a new laptop I have obtained thanks to my sister Amberly.
They traded.
And this just suits my needs much more than the one we were using previously. So, with that all said, we'll see you next time. And between now and then, remember that monsters are your friends.
Yes.